This is the Tongue Tales, and I'm your host, Shannon Evans. I write about a small town in northeast Mississippi on the Tongue River called Columbus. Sometimes I write about the rest of the state. This episode is part two of Heritage Academy, where some are more equal than others. Parents at Heritage Academy invest significant monies each year into their children's education. Most parents are seeking an excellent education for their children in a safe, nurturing environment free from overcrowding, and admittedly by many to prevent their child from being the minority white child in public school. They are willing to spend almost $9,000 a year to protect their child so that they feel that they are investing financially in their future with a solid K-12 education. While on the surface these things are available at Heritage, the reality is often quite different than advertised. Heritage has a history a mile long of hiring coaches and placing them in teaching positions they're not qualified to instruct in, meaning they don't have the course load in their own academic history required by the MAIS to hold even an emergency certificate in that field. Other teachers they have hired should have outright failed a background check or at least had questionable backgrounds that should have warranted pause for hire, unless, of course, you're a coach or a former Heritage graduate. Coaches seem to be more equal than others. The current cadre of new hires under headmaster Sean Harrison and former principal Lynn Sneed are primarily coaches and teaching in areas that do not align with their education or experience. When questioned, the administration has told multiple parents and community members that the MAIS says they can teach in XYZ area. Now I question how the MAIS approved those new hires and gave them those provisional licenses to teach in those areas. Were they unduly given favor because of the alleged intimate relationship between now former Principal Sneed and former executive director of the MAIS, Shane Blanton? It would appear that some sort of audit of those hires should be conducted by Heritage Academy Board in conjunction with the MAIS, or better yet, by an independent agency to root out any teacher, coaches, and others currently instructing in subject areas they have zero or limited qualification to teach. For example, the art teacher has a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Art, great, and an art background in CAD design. That on the surface make him a good fit to be the art and technology teacher. However, he has zero teaching experience other than teaching community workshops for adults, just a handful of those, and no pedagogical coursework is evident in his resume found online. He was previously a business major before he converted to a fine arts major. It is also not clear what, if any, soccer experience or coaching experience he had before being hired based on that resume. However, it's my understanding that he did play at before he was at Mississippi State. The teacher instructing physical science and STEM, per his recent LinkedIn profile, has a degree from Mississippi State in multidisciplinary studies with an emphasis in math, education, and kinesiology, not science. Perhaps he has a minor in science, but why is he not teaching math or PE? Because the middle school, high school pre-algebra algebra teacher, Algebra 1 teacher, has that job, and she holds a BS in elementary education and teaching from University of Nevada, Las Vegas, and previously, per her LinkedIn profile, has only taught kindergarten, first grade all subjects, second grade all subjects, third grade social studies and science, fourth grade social studies and science, fifth grade social studies and science, and sixth grade math, science, and social studies. No true middle school or high school math appears on her summary of qualifications when she was most recently job hunting and then landed her position at Heritage. So why is she at the high school and not in the elementary setting with those apparent years of experience in that particular elementary ed degree that she sits on? How is she qualified to teach middle school and high school math? Does she even have those endorsements? It's not clear. The pre-calc and calculus teacher holds a Bachelor of Arts, not a Bachelor of Science, in physics from the University of West Florida. Not the physics teaching degree that the University of Florida offers in that particular course program. No. She holds the BA in straight physics per her own LinkedIn profile. While in her work history, it lists she has 1 year as a research intern and 1 year of actual employment as a research physicist testing explosives. Her coursework, according to her BA program, unless she took some outside courses, is pretty lightweight. The program catalog describes choose one course from Group A, the core, and one additional course from Group A or Group B. So the core consists of college algebra, analytic geometry and calculus 1, mathematical thinking, and elements of science. So she would have had to have one course from that and one additional course from A, meaning that same list, or B, including trigonometry, pre-calc with trig, business calc, analytical geometry and calc 2, mathematics and context, or an introduction to data science. No math pedagogy for teaching, and no way to know if she actually took calculus 1 and calculus 2. Maybe she didn't, maybe she did. Does that make her qualified to teach in that discipline? Did she have any teaching experience? None appears on her resume. This all depends on the MAIS review of her qualifications. Is she currently enrolled in an MAT program to meet the minimum qualifications of teaching in any discipline? And is she working toward that? Heritage parents should be asking some seriously in-depth questions on this one, especially if their child is entering into a competitive university application and scholarship cycle where math scores on their SAT and ACTs matter. Then there are the coaches in the social studies and the history department. The students and faculty at Heritage have historically called social studies where all coaches are stuck to do the least damage to students. In other words, the implication of that is that faculty and students assume that the social sciences are clearly not very important to the current administration. The head basketball coach for boys has quite the basketball resume. Presbyterian Christian, Hill Academy, Starkville Academy, Oak Hill, and now Heritage. He's only spent a year or two at each place with the exception of Presbyterian Christian. He also teaches government and economics, taking over the classes that the current athletic director once taught. Not a single news article or Heritage PR effort addresses his degree in the areas of his endorsement in which he currently teaches. He may be qualified. He may have a degree in kinesiology, for all the public knows. We must just rely on the MAIS and the school's good faith that he is qualified for the classes he teaches in a school that prides itself on academic excellence. The head baseball coach appears to have a degree in neuroscience from Millsaps, where he played football and baseball. He now teaches psychology, sociology, ACT prep, and environmental science. While psychology clearly fits his degree, the rest leave me scratching my head for a connection. It feels as if the school schedule had holes and they threw him in to plug them, and it just happened to work with his baseball coaching schedule. Perhaps he holds certifications in all those specialties. When did he find time to get the extra course hours, the pedagogy, and coach baseball all those years, all at the same time? Makes one pause again and ask, is he that gifted as an educator coach, or is he again more equal than others and got a little help from either the school, MAIS, or both? Or does the administration at Heritage consider all these electives he teaches so unimportant to the educational future of their students that they threw him in them, thus letting him focus on maybe winning a baseball championship? Again, makes you pause and wonder, doesn't it? Then there's the soccer program. One of the coaches, by all indications, is a great guy with a Bachelor of Education in kinesiology, again, per his LinkedIn profile. But is he teaching weightlifting or body dynamics or even PE, areas where he is certainly more than qualified to teach? Nope. He's teaching history and Mississippi studies and has zero background in soccer other than volunteering with some other programs. I can't find that he played the game in middle, high school, or even intramurals in college. He is listed, however, this year as an assistant coach at MUW soccer. But unlike the head coach, he has zero bio to glean any info about his soccer creds or previous teaching experience. And this leads me to the almighty football team and the assistant coach. Again, nice guy, beloved by the students. teaches PE at the lower school, but he has a history. It is in the March 11th, 2020 dispatch that former Mississippi State cornerback Jonathan Banks, spelled JohnThan, was arrested on domestic violence aggravated assault charges. His wife told the police she was choked. He was arrested. He was taken to jail. Clearly, there must have been evidence to make that happen. What is not clear is how or if it was ever adjudicated. I wonder if his background check explored this and how that was addressed in the hiring interview. While this could be a he said, she said event, police do not typically jail people without sufficient evidence or that someone is in danger to someone else. Head coach Tobias Smith, Banks's college roommate, hired him to be his assistant coach. That is admirable. Did Banks even go through the standard background check that all teachers, coaches, and volunteers who come into contact with students are required to have? Are the parents of Heritage Academy students aware of his background, or are they only aware that he played football at Mississippi State before turning pro for a short career? Who cleared his license with the MAIS to teach PE in the elementary school with the most vulnerable of the student population? Was this another potential favor granted due to the alleged inappropriate relationship between the principal and the MAIS executive director? We will never know. It is all conveniently swept under the rug with their resignations, at least for now. Now, where is the head coach in all, or excuse me, the head of school in all of this? Is he calling for a complete audit and investigation into the new hires and their MAIS licenses? Or is he happy to let this all just disappear and be forgotten about at the expense of the education of the Heritage Academy student body? Has the Heritage Board called for any investigations into these questionable new hires and the positions they are currently rated for? Or are they just rubber stamping anything Harrison wants in the interest of potential championship rings and championship flags hanging in the gym? Are they and he as useless as the G in lasagna? Or do they truly care about the school and its future? For over 50 years, Heritage has stood for high moral standards and academic excellence. That appears to have fallen to the wayside with the backdoor deal to remove Dr. Greg Carlisle as head of school and replace him with a football coach who has facilitated the hiring of a cadre of teachers and teacher coaches who have little or no background in the courses they teach. Since I published part 1 of this series Saturday night, I have had many parents of students, current students, reach out to me in emails, text messages, on social media, in the grocery store, and on the sidewalk downtown in Columbus to tell me that their stories, to tell me their stories about run-ins with the administration, concerns about their kids' education gaps occurring at Heritage, and about the recent retirement/resignation of the 2 administrators. They have told me they know that what I have presented is accurate and on point and expresses many of the concerns they themselves have that they don't dare voice because they know that their child will suffer repercussions by faculty and coaches if the parents voice their concerns anywhere, including online or to the administration. It is that toxic in that school. If I was paying almost $9,000 a year for my child's education, I would be demanding my money back and or calling for the resignation of the head of schools, Sean Harrison. It is absolutely laughable that the school even pretends at this point to care about academic, emotional, and social well-being of their students, much less the farce that they are modeling high moral standards. I'm Shannon Evans, and this is the Tom Bigby Tales. And there will be more. Until next time.